Hey, Sugar, looking at the 300 card, is there anything that sticks out to you? I'd like your thoughts on Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje.
There's a jet flying over. Let me mute it for a second.
Maybe Calvin Kattar, Aljamain Sterling.
Whatever you want.
I think Brendan's like, well, you can ask him whatever you want, but I think a lot of these guys are going to have a very general opinion about.
I've only interviewed 5,000 fighters. Right. I know how this goes.
Well, Calvin Kattar and Aljamain Sterling, I mean, you fought the man, so that's an interesting question.
Yeah, I think, if Aljo go in there and get a hold of him, he very, very well could take it down, submit him. Like, that's Aljamain is next level. He's a next level of grappling. So if he can go in there and grab a hold of him and get him where he wants him, I think that's Aljo's fight all day. But Calvin's a good boxer with good wrestling defense. I think, damn, I forgot that fight's on the card.
Yeah, I want to see Aljo without the weight cut. Like, Aljo's a beast.
Calvin Kattar's a beast.
I know. I heard he's still eating like shit, though. He's like eating pizza and stuff, and he's like, he can because he's, doesn't have to cut as much weight. But, that shit, that's not how it works. But I am curious with him going up to 45 and seeing how that turns out. That's not on the main card, right?
No, this is a prelim, ESPN prelim. I mean, the card's freaking stacked, dude. When that's your second fight, Geary and Rackett is the main event for the prelims, and that kicks off with Bo Nickel, Cody Brundage. With Bo Nickel took some heat, right? Because his placement on the card, everyone's all upset. It's like, I mean, clearly the guy, deserves the hype. Bo Nickel's a freak, man. They're just trying to showcase him.
Yeah, that jet loud as fuck for you guys, or not too bad?
No,
not too bad.
Can't hear it.
I remember getting a little bit of shit too when I started fighting. Early on in my career, being on the main card, not a ton, but it's like, and Bo's saying everything I said before. It's like, you don't get paid anymore. I would rather fight early. If I'm not the main event, I don't give a fuck where I'm at on the card. Let me be the first prelim so I can get this done with, and then and enjoy the rest of the fucking day. I don't care to be on the main card if I'm not main event. To be honest, like that, I never really cared. And he's kind of in the same boat there. But it is what it's a fight. 15 minutes for those guys that it's get wherever it's at on the day. Doesn't really matter for the fighters.
But I feel like Bo and you are a little similar, where there was hype behind you guys. Then people thought you guys were getting like certain privileges and stuff like that. It's like, but this isn't any league. Like in the NFL, the first round draft pick, the number one pick. Yeah, he's gonna get more airtime. People are gonna care more. Like, that's the guy who's gonna carry the organization, into the future. There's a reason why the UFC invested, marketing resources into you. There's a reason they're doing it with Bo Nickel. Like, they see the talent and they know where this king goes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to win. There's been a bunch of guys that were kind of had that same push or privilege or whatever, and they don't go out there and put on the performances and do what I've been able to do, fight after fight after fight. I think I've had like 12 fights in the UFC, never lost a fight. And so I've been able to continue to steadily do that. My last 3 fights: Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling, Chito Vera. 3 killers, 3 tough dudes.
Murderers.
Yeah, so but
that's what's
it is
crazy.
What it is.
Hey, Sugar, your thoughts on Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje? When I first heard it, I was like, oh, I hate this for Max. The more I sit on it, the more I think, I'm like, if Max uses his footwork, he's a better boxer, lighter on the feet. I could see him winning in a decision. If he doesn't, exchange too much with Justin, I could see him pulling it off.
Yeah, I'm just curious because Max says his main goal is, 45-pound champ. It's just like, especially with Elia champ now, it's like, what's the point of this fight? The BMF title, I would almost bet my fucking left nut that you're not getting any pay-per-view points, you're not getting any more. You might get an extra 50,000 of them. And even if that, I would be surprised. But so I don't really know what the point is, other than it is a big fight, but it's not a main event. It's not, you're not getting pay-per-view points. So I'm curious. He's putting on weight to go up to 55. So I don't know. I think the fight itself, though, it's like, goddamn, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Like, Justin looks so good.
Yeah, he did.
Rafael's a different style than Max. Max is obviously longer, good kickboxer. Max is a good size 55er, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't really think when Max fought Dustin, Max did definitely look a little bit smaller. I feel like it was a few years ago. I feel like Max put on weight. I feel like Max is going to go out there, have a good performance, and probably stay at 55. So I don't think it's going to be a weight difference too much. skill for skill, that is such a sick fight. I feel like those guys are pretty equal. Toughness, those guys are maxed out on the charts. Speed, yeah, I don't know. That is an interesting fight.
Power,
Max
it's
Still's
the
never
power. Power
Yeah.
could be the difference.
Justin
maker
has
there with
more power.
Yeah, but Max just has to not exchange like he did with Dustin Poirier. Because Max would land 3,
Yeah.
Dustin lands 1. You can see the damage on Max's face.
Fuck yeah! That fight, I'm excited for. That'll be very interesting. I'm excited to be cage side for that. That's a fight that kind of, you sit in the stands, you're a little nervous for. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
these guys are fucking killers. So very excited for that. If I had to do a prediction, man, I feel like I never actually end up making predictions because I know how the fight game goes, and I'm just like, it's a fucking coin flip. Who had a better camp? Who
Yes.
show up better that night? Who lands?
MMA is the worst to pick. You have better odds.
Yeah,
on
but
NFL.
with the Charles Oliveira Armand to
Ooh,
Sarukian.
forget about that
yeah,
one.
'cause-
Sheesh.
because he's like, I didn't realize that Sarukian was 5'7". I didn't know he was that short. And then Charles is tall, and Charles has got great stand up. Obviously, his jiu-jitsu is great, but that Arman Sarukian is as close to Islam Makhachev as a wrestler as it gets in that division. And you could make a comparison. This is a little bit like the Sugar Sean Marab fight in a way. Like if you were in, obviously there are big differences. I really do consider you to be greatness, but I'm saying Charles Oliveira is no slouch. He's amazing. If you're in Charles Oliveira's camp, how does he deal with that wrestling? That Armenian
His striking is a lot
Dagestani.
better than Marab's.
His striking, Sarukian?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Way
Great
better-
striking
way better
too.
than Marab's.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Nightmare in general.
Yeah, the thing about Charles' wrestling, it's like I think he just accepts going to his back too easy, which it's hard. Like you just can't. You got to make these motherfuckers earn it, even though how dangerous he is off his back. It's like you just can't give up that because then you risk ending the round there. You risk them getting, he got head and arm choked by his. You just cannot. What am I fucking giving Charles Oliveira advice? I just don't think you want to give up, going to the ground too easy. Make them fucking earn it. But while you do that, it's like you also risk, gassing yourself out, wrestling hard
Giving
as
up
fuck. But it is
rounds,
only
too.
3 rounds.
Yeah.
It only is 3 rounds. So Charles kind of comes out there hot. Goddamn, that's a sweet fight too. That's got to be on the main card, yeah?
That's
Yeah,
main
it's on
card.
the
Yeah,
main card.
it's
That's
second on the main card. Then the main event.
Okay, right after Bo.
The main event, Alex Pierre and Jamal Hill. And it would be a toss up. My only caveat with this one is, remember Jamal Hill blew his Achilles heel out 8 months ago?
9. About 9.
Yeah,
Maybe 10
Yeah,
now.
9.
9.
It's short. It's a short comeback, right?
9.
How much time does he have?
And then also you got to remember the way Jamal Hill fights. All his power. He's not like a Suga or a guy that's using a ton of footwork and bouncy. He's very plotty, and he uses the power of that hand to generate the force from that heel that the Achilles connected to. So he's gonna be putting torque on that freaking heel. It gives me anxiety.
Especially, yeah, me too. Especially with Pajeda going out there kicking his calf like that. I mean, that fucking Achilles not far from where that calf kick lands, and that's gonna be. Lands 3 of those, and then he explodes off a right hand. But, I mean, Tim tore his Achilles 4.5 months ago, and that motherfucker, he did everything right. He was eating clean, did stem cells. He was, he did the peptides. He's just done everything right. And he's back to training pretty much. He still can't explode off, but, I think Jamal probably did everything right. I know for a fact Tim did, and he's feeling pretty good 4.5 months out. But,
I mean,
to get into a fight camp for 5 rounds... 9 months out
against Alex.
Oh man!
Now the one thing.
If he goes,
go ahead. What I was going to say though, the one thing Alex has, the one thing Alex has is, he's not a traditional boxer, so he doesn't have the same head movement. So with those Muay Thai guys and kickboxing guys, their head's very stationary.
Yes.
And Jamal Hill, he throws that 1-2 down the fucking pipe.
Correct. And
so I do think he can take advantage of that with Alex. But
my thing
it's a
also,
toss-up.
Jamal, don't sleep on Jamal's kicks. Jamal kicks his ass off. He wobbled Glover Teixeira with a head kick. He throws low kicks. He throws front kicks. He throws as many kicks as he does punches. I went down the rabbit hole this weekend and watched
tough
it
with Alex.
But he's
I bet you don't see
them.
as many.
He
That'd
throws
be
those
an awful
heavy
idea.
kicks and then he
That'd be a
follows
bad
him with
idea.
punches.
That'd be a bad idea.
Well, because he gets checked or what?
I mean, literally, you're playing right into Alex's game.
Right.
He wants you to kick.
My thing about this is this. Jamal, what I noticed also is that he tends to, I don't know if it's a habit or whatever, he tends to lean forward over his front foot. And if he does that with Alex, Alex is going to kick that calf into kingdom come. I've never seen him really check kicks. And Alex does that weird up kick. It's this weird Dutch thing. He doesn't even turn his body over. He just kicks. That shit is going to weigh on him. My guess is he's going to try to do that and time it so he punches him in the grill every time he throws that kick. But that's a tough, that's a tall
gives me
order.
anxiety.
It gives me
so much anxiety.
I think Jamal Hill, actually I believe Jamal Hill knocks him out.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Really?
I do, because I think Alex tends to, if you watch him, even if he's mid-distance, when he closes, he's throwing heavy, but his hands are down. They just are. I don't understand it. I know he's a great fighter, but that is a fact. It's why he got knocked out against Izzy. I see him do that. I've seen him in practice when he does that. He does get caught in the grill because he keeps his hands down. And it's so interesting to me. Now, part of it might be he's trying to bring you in so he can counter, but I don't know if that works against Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill throws that 1-2 down the pipe and you're going to sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Jamal's grappling is super underrated for him. Alex looked pretty good against Blachowicz as far as just like not getting submitted, but he was able to get held down. He was able to, get controlled on the ground. Jamal Hill is dangerous on the ground. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal kind of came in there and wanted to grapple a little bit more, especially with that Achilles, especially knowing how dangerous Pereira is. That left hook he hit Yuri with wasn't even that hard. Wow. It was short. It was boom. Like, you don't want to play that game. Jamal Hill has the same power too, but I also think he gets a lot more advantage on the ground. It's like, why risk it? So out of that fight, I wasn't as excited because I was expecting, Conor Habib 2 or Islam versus Leon, or I was expecting something fucking crazy. So when they first announced it, I was like, But the closer it gets, the more excited I've gotten, which tends to happen with a lot of fights. So, and I'm excited. And they've got to be announcing something for that at that press conference or at the weigh-ins or something.
They're going to announce Conor. They're going to announce Conor Chandler International Fight Week end of June.